Welcome all of you once again. And today we are on the episode 8B on the art of communication. In Hindi, we say Samvad ki Kala, and we are having our excellent communicator with us, Sister Debbie Castle, all the way from Halifax, Canada. So, welcome, Sister Debbie. And I'm sure all of us know her very well, but I'll just again, for the benefit of people who join new, let me just speak a few words about her. So she actually is currently instrumental in running the organization called People's Development, and where we just spoke a few minutes ago that she's dealing with and communicating with a lot of people, with parents, with children. And Sister Debbie's wisdom has been gained in 4 decades of work, which spans over 40 countries. And she has earned her doctorate and master's in adult education, where I think communication is a very important aspect. So I think she'll be the best person to give some inner reflections. And she has been into Brahma Kumaris. She was introduced to Raj Yoga meditation in Ethiopia almost 40 years from now. And currently, she also enjoys her life in the forms of being an educator and a learning specialist. I must say, she's really a great listener as well. And I think the most important part of communication is listening. So, with all this, I'll request Sister Claudia to please welcome her with flowers. Over to Sister Claudia. Thank you.
Good morning from Vancouver. Good afternoon for many of us, and good evening for all of you who are on the other part of the world. So it's a pleasure to have you again with us. And then this to learn this big art of communication is a big art. So for me, I think not only a pleasure but an honor to have you talking to us about this. So I just like to give you a flower of love from all of us. This represents love, and we love you so much when you speak. Thank you very much. Let's listen to you and learn more from you.
Wonderful. What a lovely start. Thank you. And thank you to the whole team that helps make this Arts for Life happen. Sitting with them the 15 minutes before we start, you just see all the care that's taken to make sure that everybody gets the information that is being provided in this series. So thank you to the team, wonderful coordination and co-creation by so many souls that help us all learn about these arts. And when I first started looking with my sister Judy at the arts, we became familiar with where they got the name, and we're very close in the time of the month where it will be the full moon soon. And the idea was that each degree that the new moon goes, adding a bit, they call it waxing the moon, adding a bit, adding a bit, adding a bit until the moon is full, is very much what this Arts for Life is about, helping each of us become the best we can be, the fullest, brightest reflection of the supreme that we can be. And this art of communication is very dear to me. And this morning, in morning class afterwards, when we were churning, one young father was there. He has young children. He mentioned how when they all went to bed last night, he had some quiet time. And what did he do in his quiet time? He sat down to journal, which is writing to the self, but he said it turned into writing to the divine. And he had a conversation with the divine last night, and how precious that is. So we spent some quality time this morning talking about communication and how important the situation you're in, the timing, plays into how well our communication comes from us and comes to us from others. As Manoj mentioned, the being a receiver of information, not just a listener, but a receiver of all of what comes to us as vibrations, as visuals that enhance or detract from the message that's trying to be communicated. Last week we had Sister Manda with us, and she did a beautiful job of getting us started with thoughts and experiences and insights from what has been a life for her of working with other people to create a beautiful environment, the Oxford Retreat Center, that many people have visited. But it's that sense that she reminded us that our intention with communication is to get a work done, get the task done. And in that it needs to be clear, it needs to be concise. We can't ramble on too much. It needs to be clean. She talked about it not being biased, and we're going to explore some of these things today. And just like Sister Claudia presented the Rose of Love, at this time, being loveful in our communication with others will go a long way to getting the message over from you to them, them to you. And the other thing she mentioned was around the accuracy of the information. And sometimes we unfortunately repeat information that isn't fully accurate. It may have been something that happened at the time, and now things have changed. So we have to be aware in our communication of the time and the presence of who's with us. So the purpose of today, and maybe I'll start my PowerPoint now. And so this is the art of communication. And this we do them as a group in a series of 4. And the second one is always, you get the topic first with a talk, and then inner reflections. And we'll be staying inside you a lot today in this session. And the purpose will be to reflect on your current practice in the art of communication. And we try in the reflection process always to create greater awareness, give opportunities for in that reflection for you to come to some realizations of your own, and then that there would be a takeaway for you, something that will help you continue to develop your practice in the art. And to this morning, it's around the art of communication. And to do that, I wanted to pick up on some things, some points that our dear Sister Manda made to guide our reflection. And one of the things that she said was about when it's working and not working. She gave examples of her own where things went well and where they didn't. And the importance of giving our intention and recognizing our intention of creating communication that's clear, respectful, clean, loveful, and accurate. Okay, somehow. So one of the things she brought to us was the ultimate goal of communication. And It came from a Latin origin, and I quite loved it. To create a shared understanding by making information, ideas, or experience common between individuals, among people. Also, I can take that to mean inside myself. And the process of bringing together and uniting people through the transmission and reception of a message, wanting to get something across that's clear. So I chose 4 quotes from her talk that I'm going to use as the jump-off point for our reflections today. And the 4 quotes are that words are secondary to our energy and vibrations. And for all of you who have visited centers, the Brahma Kumaris centers, as soon as we enter in, we feel the energy of love, of respect. It's just precious what that does for so many people. And often words aren't the first thing that is needed. So that's an important quote that Manda made that I want to work with some more. Another one was communication is always happening. So when someone says, I didn't say anything, there is always communication happening from your face, from your body language, from the space you're in, the environment. So there's not a time when communication is not happening, good or bad communication. I already spoke to this one because I thought it was so valuable as a setup, but the meaning of communication is to share in common, in the commons, the areas when we're together. And the last quote, that actions speak louder than words. So how we behave, if it's aligned with our thoughts and feelings and words, the message will get across. If somehow there's a breakdown there, there will be difficulty in getting the message across. So we have our 4 quotes that we're going to build our reflection around today. And the first quote she used was, words are secondary to our energy and vibration. So I'm going to, this whole inner reflection will be opportunities for you to reflect, and I will provide the stimulus for that. And the first one that goes along with this, words are secondary to our vibrations. I'm going to invite you to another moment of stillness. We had one to start. But in this one, we're going to listen to what our bodies are saying or telling us. And us, the soul, inside the body. So what is the body saying to us? So we know that the body uses this energy, vibrations. It's like a magnetic force, either that attracts or pushes away. So I'd like you to get comfortable, and I will guide you in a full body scan. And I want you to listen to what your body has to say to you. And to guide the body, to speak to the soul, I'll ask your bodies to say, as we go through the scan, it's okay, I'm okay, or it's not okay. No further discussion at this point, but to actually listen to your body. And we'll do a little bit of discussion of that later. So I'd like you to get comfortable in your seat. Maybe roll your shoulders back a little. Tilt your head back. And take a deep breath in right to your stomach. And breathe out. Another breath in. And breathe out. And be you, the soul that's sitting in the center of the forehead, behind the eyes. And let the focus of your intellect go to your toes. What are your toes saying to you today? Are they okay? Are they not okay? Let your attention go to the rest of your feet, your soles, your ankles. Check in with your lower legs, the calves, the shins. Are they okay? And further up the legs to the thighs. Up to the hips, checking in where you're sitting. Further up to your stomach and all your internal organs. How are they feeling at this time of day? Check in with your precious heart and lungs that work continuously for you without your direction. Are they okay? Continue up to your neck, shoulders, your throat. Continue up into your head, your face, your ears, your eyes, your mouth, your tongue, your nose, your lips. Are they okay? And check the brain, where the soul resides, sitting inside the skull. Is everything okay? So you've just had a full scan of the body, an interaction, a communication. How do you usually respond to your body when it communicates energetically to you, the soul? Do you pay attention to those brief moments of pain or tiredness? So the body is continually sending messages that keep you alert to being the best you can be when you enter into communication with yourself, with others, with the divine. And this instrument is a very important part of our communication. So we're going to explore some more of that. But right now, and we don't usually do this, so I'm going to suggest that you thank all the body parts for their messages, whether they were just saying okay or they were saying it's not okay. And if they were saying it's not okay, just do a quick check-in now and let them know you'll be back after our session for a more thorough conversation followed by action, that you will do something as the soul to take care of the instrument. So I would suspect not many of you were expecting to start our session this way. But when Manda said last week, words are secondary to our energy and vibrations, all of us have been in situations where we wished we could have done better in our communication, but we were overwhelmed by how we were feeling inside, either through the emotion or the feelings, or it may have been pain and a preoccupation with something that was going on in the body. And so paying attention to those things and not saying it doesn't matter, let me just carry on, is a really important part of keeping our energy and vibrations clean. So that's our first inner reflection. I hope you have your pen and paper and are jotting down some notes, because as in all of these reflections, we come to the end of the session where there's an opportunity to plan your takeaway, what it is. There may be something in this for you. Next, I want to combine two quotes that Manda gave us, so that we can reflect on both being a sender and receiver of information. So the two quotes that we're going to work with now are: communication is always happening, and the meaning of communication comes from the Latin to share in common. So it's always happening, and it's about sharing messages, getting information or ideas from one person to another. And just as we've said about the body, often we bring so much of our own internal stuff and a particular communication style to a conversation, to a dialogue, that it's sometimes difficult for people to hear the message in our words because of everything else that's going on. And I'm sure you'll relate to this. All of us have a particular set of habits, patterns that are in our communication that demonstrate our intentions, our interactions with others. And even though people, the place, the process might be quite different from one conversation to another, we behave the same. We communicate in the same way. And we say, that's just the way I am. And we could look at that as an excuse for some behaviors that we have picked up along the way that don't really serve clear, respectful, loveful communication. And so we expect other people to adjust their communication style to be in symphony with ours, when in fact we have some of that responsibility in the commons to be in a space where what is shared becomes known to all. So I'm going to invite you this time to consider your preferred communication style that typically shows up when you're in communication with others. And as Manda said, when a task gets well done, it's because everybody's clear and we have support from everybody and they're engaged in what needs to happen at the right time. We don't all have to be together all the time, but because we've shared the information, we're able to go off and perform that which needs to be done. So I'm going to use a metaphor here that I came up with just yesterday, and we'll see if it works for you. But when we're communicating, we're trying really, it's like creating something sweet. And so we're going to bake a cake. And that's what our communication style is, some part of all the instruments that we need to create a common understanding amongst within ourselves and amongst others. So I'd like you to think about each of the following and which one is most like you. So in your communication style, are you most like a measuring spoon or cup? And you're always asking the right amount of questions, the right number, the right amount of questions to get a better understanding, both for yourself and for others. So are you mostly a questioner? Or are you more like all the ingredients? You've got the information and knowledge that others need to get the job done, to take the task forward. And so your communication style might be more like a source. You're the thing where the information resides and people need to get it from you. So there's two, questioner or source. Or are you more like the bowl? You can hold everything that everybody says, both verbally and non-verbally, as we've been saying, and bring it together in one meaningful whole, a summarizer. It's a very valuable skill. All of us have been in lengthy meetings where we have different points of view, and if somebody can pull it together, summarize it, and hold it, it's so very valuable. So are you more like the bowl that holds it all? Or are you the mixing spoon that you're able to blend the wet and dry, all the pros and cons, all the opinions that are there, so others can hear all sides? A synthesizer. Very valuable role. To be able to see inside a con, how it connects with the pros, and to bring those together so that people can consider more deeply, more holistically, what's being offered, what's being said. So that's our fourth one, a synthesizer. Or are you more like the sifter, who can take what's being communicated and put it through a finer filter? You're listening and you're able then to offer new ways of considering the ideas put forth. We talk about it as paraphrasing, restating, but are you an active listener that can bring information back in a way that has the accurate meaning, but is more meaningful to others who are there? They get the main point. Or there might be something else. These were 5 that I came up with that when I think about creating a beautiful conversation, a beautiful sweet cake, these are communication skills that are all necessary. And in different times, we play these different roles depending on what has to be done. And sometimes we have to be more one than the other. So right now, I would like you to list for yourself, which one are you most often? And put them in order. I'm most frequently or typically have to be this, and least often I'm doing this. So give yourself a little bit of I'll do my 2-minute timer and really think about the complexity of the situations you're in, the variety, and do your own list and think about why it's like that. Okay, when you thought about the why your communication style might be as it is, did you think about the set of circumstances you're often in, and are you flexible enough to move from listener to source to synthesizer? Do you have that capacity? Is it because of culture? Are there things that happen in your culture that you find when you're in an intercultural group that people do things that you're quite surprised by, but yet you want to know the source of that? Is it because of your conditioning? Often the way we behave at home and at work are quite different when we're in the community, when we're with family, when we're with friends. And those come from the condition that we're in each of those. And so that conditioning is repeated over time and becomes our practice, our style. Or is it a skill thing? Do you only have the skills for speaking, being extrovert, versus the capacity to synthesize, to really think about what's being said and bring the pros and cons together rather than reacting to one or the other? And there may be some other influence that you felt has been there. But it's a really important part of understanding what happens in our communication when things go well and when they don't, is to understand our own contribution to that in terms of habits or patterns of behaving that we've repeated so often that we can hardly not behave that way. All right. So now I'd like you to think about whether this is the best role for you. Whatever your list has been, what's at the top, what's the second one as the most typical? Is that the best role for you? If it is, if it's fine, I'd like you to consider how you could refine it to get even better in the art of communication. We are always, always being called upon to be either more respectful, more loveful, more clear, more kind. These were words we heard Manda give us. So if you've got a certain pattern, how could you refine that? It works, but we always have to be working on it. How could you even refine it to be better in the art of communication? Or if it's not the best role for you, where would you like to develop new ways of being? And with our intention to be to co-create understanding in your communication. So really pushing us to think about, well, if that's the way I am, and if I think it's good, it's the way it works best for me, others, and when I'm speaking with the divine, how would I refine it even more? And if it's not the best, how would you shift those different patterns within the style and develop capacity in another area to complement the communication process? So I'll let you think about that a little bit. And it just might be putting a star by them or some arrows for reordering. But now I'd like to move to another phrase, a quote from Manda, that actions speak louder than words. And it's a well-known phrase. We say it all the time. But I'm going to ask you to think about a recent conversation. Could have been a dialogue where you're exchanging information to get the same meaning within yourself, or just with one other. You get to choose now, or you were in a group setting. And think about in that time, I hope you have chosen one particular one to look at. We're not doing a general thing, one particular one. Think about that conversation in terms of where and when did you feel understood? And actually, what are some markers of that? What are some things that people said or did that you knew that you were being understood? Could have been energy, could have been nonverbals. It could have been something someone said. And when did you feel, or where in the conversation did you feel misunderstood? People didn't get what your intention was. I'd like you to also think about what body language, signals, facial expressions were you consciously or unconsciously sending or receiving from others in this interaction. So now you're both thinking about yourself and what's the mirror that you picked up that others were somehow not understanding. They were understanding. You were able to see that in their face, in their expression, in the way they were sitting, standing, using their body. And your intention was to make sure that you were all on the same wavelength. And then I'd like you to think, as the last piece of this reflection, how did you help or harm the level of respect, clarity, or accuracy? How did you help those things come through in the communication? Did you do it with a smile? Did you do it with a nod of the head, through the eyes? But to give respect, clarity, were you listening and asking questions? Were you summarizing? Were you synthesizing to help bring clarity? Or accuracy? Were you bringing in new information that perhaps others didn't have to get a fuller understanding of what was happening for that situation or task to come to fruition? Now, we've gathered all of this information, and I'm going to ask you to sit with it in a reflective mode again. To edit our actions. To think of something within what you've identified for yourself in that recent interaction that needs editing. We can't repeat that situation, but other similar situations will come up. And either within ourselves, we could do some editing, or in our ability to vibrationally, energetically get information across, or in the words that we choose, the actions, the body language, the actions we take with it. So to do that, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think about how you could edit your actions, body, face, posture, vibration, to demonstrate respect for every soul you interact with. So just considering that that's one of the main aspects of communication, demonstrating respect for every soul, how could you edit your actions? And I've got the 2-minute timer up, so take your time with that. And this is really soul work, how you would direct your body to help you, the soul, work towards shared understanding. Okay. So we're moving into this final piece of our process. Hopefully through the reflection, you've had some realizations, either about your style or situations that you're confronted with, where the intention is clear communication with yourself, with others, one other individual or others, so that you can work together. So I'd like you to think about one practice or affirmation in the art of communication that you want to start working on now and this week before the next reflection workshop. So thinking about the patterns of communication, what ones of those do you want to shift or strengthen to move forward with shared understanding and communication? So there are many ways to improve or strengthen skills and talents we have in communicating. And throughout this, I've been speaking more about the face-to-face, but so many of us are on Zoom and texting nowadays that certainly that's a large component of ways that you might have to shift in timing, choice of words, because those modalities are almost solely reliant on the words that are used and the emojis. And what is one small change that you can start practicing today as a recipient, a listener of information, or a sender in the art of communication? One small change that you can start practicing. And the more we get to that place, the more we are going to have in community, in our groups, in our families, in our organization, places where there is less verbal talk, because the practice we've taken together has improved our intentions and our attention to all that goes along with the verbal part of the communication process. So I'd like you to write something for yourself. That would be one small change. It could be a practice. It could also be an affirmation. Like, I am a good listener, and I want to continue to develop that. Could be an example. I am a good summarizer. I'm going to offer that on a more regular basis. So again, I'd like to thank Manda for giving us this rich opportunity to look at different aspects of our communication. Thank the team for bringing us all together. And for each of you, there's something that you have taken on as a realization and enlightenment for how you will continue to shift your communication towards shared understanding, loveful, respectful, accurate, clear, and clean communication. So I think I will stop sharing there and come back to the group.
Yes, thank you so much. Just still reflecting. It's too many things today to look at. But fantastic. So thank you once again. And I would request now Sister Claudia to please propose the vote of thanks. Over to Sister Claudia.
Yes, it was wonderful because, sometimes we do not really stop to see where we need to improve. We can see, but in a rough way, not too deep. And you make us to go deep inside and then see what is I need to change and what is I'm doing okay and what is I'm not doing okay. And then start doing our homework. So thank you very much. You really brought us a new way to look into life. Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Sister Claudia. Thank you, Sister Deborah. Yes, a lot to look within and sincerely. I think, yeah, time-wise, well, we don't take any questions today, but if there's any question, maybe I'm just putting it out to the all who are here. If you have any question by chance you want to ask, raise your hand. We can take 1 or 2 minutes. So we can address it. Yeah, I know it's last minute, but we usually take question on the chat, but you can raise your hand if you want. Yeah, like Dr. Manoj brother said, it's a lot. We all have taken notes and will reflect on, and maybe we'll bring it back in the workshop next week. So please join us back. We go more detail with more detailed reflection time and sharing. So it will become more. So yeah, let's move on. I'll just do a quick announcement, and then Sister Devi, you will take us through a meditation. as I just shared, we'll have our workshop next week. So it would be with much deeper reflections, the exercises with interactive discussion, and also the revision of today's session and the session by Sister Nanda. So it's next week, Saturday, 11th October, same time, 7 a.m. West Coast, 7:30 p.m. India, and likewise all other timings. Please join us then. And also after that, following that week on 18th of October, Saturday, same time, we will have the silence retreat on the art of communication. That will be further deepening our takings or understandings and our action planning, what change we will bring in us, in our personality at communication. This is for, as we say, BK students, because some of the Brahma Kumaris teachings will be integrated in the session, but it's open to all, whether you follow Brahma Kumaris teachings or not. So please also you can invite your friends, family, acquaintances, but please join us then. And this is our calendar. After Art of Communication, we'll be doing Art of Leading, Leadership. So 25th will be with Mike George. So one after the other, the arts will lead us to really become someone who is easy, simple to communicate and be leading, doing work accurately. So yeah, you can check us out on our websites. That's vihasa.in and vancouver.brahmakumaris.ca. All our videos, including today's, would be on the YouTube channel of Vihasa India and Vancouver Brahma Kumaris. So please check us out there. You can write us email for any queries. I'll beforehand over to Sister Debbie. Let's have a photo. We always take our session photo. So you can open your video with that beautiful smiles, some takeaway that you are taking with you, and will make this moment memorable with Sister Debbie. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Sister.
Lovely. Yes, smiles are a big part of our communication, aren't they? Learning to keep a ready smile certainly helps the goodwill. So let's move into a little meditation. Time to be comfortable in yourself, the soul, sitting in this body that's found a way to be comfortable. The lungs and the heart that give us air without even asking. So relax your face, relax your body, relax your shoulders. Be at ease. And on the screen of your mind, see yourself in conversation with others. Smile. Knowing everyone has something special to add to the communication. So that there will be clarity. There will be accuracy. You are the right people in the right place at the right time to get things done. to be how we know we can be with each other. Recall the new practice you are bringing to the conversation to help increase the clarity, the essence, the love, and the accuracy. Feel the alignment in your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and actions. A virtuous cycle of communication. Be present for all and absorb the essence and harmonize within your community. Be grateful. Be grateful for your body, for everyone's contribution to bringing understanding into the commons. Om Shanti.
Thank you once again, Sister Debbie. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Bye now.